You're listening to Cards to the Moon, a podcast about trading cards from both a collector and investor perspective. We hope you'll stick around for the ride as we take a deep dive into the state of the hobby, share some hot takes, hopefully some useful advice, and fun stories along the way. Hey guys, welcome to Cards to the Moon. This is episode 117, and it is a Friday edition of the podcast. My name is Clark from fivecardguys on Instagram and fivecardguys.com. With me, as usual, is John, who is Trade You at Recess on Instagram. And Hyung is actually still away, but not to worry. In his place, we have our podcast celebrity, the one that everyone wants to hear. Will is back to fill in for the next couple of episodes. Good to see you again so soon, Will.
Hi, everyone. I didn't expect to be back so soon, but I'm glad to be here.
We roped him in, and shout out to Scotch444, who actually recently left a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and he wrote, "Need more Will. Will is hilarious," and which we absolutely agree with, of course.
Yes.
So, Will, thank you again for giving the people what they want.
Yeah, I really appreciate those kind words, but I want everyone to know that I am like fast food. I'm like McDonald's. Once in a while, it's great to have me, but if you have me every episode, if you have me every day, it's not going to be good for your health. So I'm going to take like 6 months off after these next 2 episodes.
All right, we'll see about that, but well, there's an open invitation. You could come on at any time, so you don't even have to ask. Just hop in whenever we're recording. So that's, just wanted to let you know that. All right, off the top today, I wanted to talk about the story on ESPN.com that I saw, which is about Jud Fabian, who is a Baltimore Orioles prospect, and he has a first Bowman Chrome card in this year's set with his autograph on it, and inscribed on one of the cards, he wrote, "Hi, Dad." Right? So that card was actually ripped on a live stream recently. And what makes the story cool is that his dad, Eric Fabian, saw it, and he's now trying to track it down for himself. So maybe if one of our listeners runs across it, they can let the dad know. I thought that was a pretty cool story. What do you guys think?
Very cool. I love it, man. I really like when players take some liberties, and I mean, we've seen it before, and they do some inscriptions. I think this story is amazing. It's great. And it's great that it's getting the publicity that it's getting.
Yeah, on ESPN, for sure.
Yeah, personally, I'm a big fan of like inscribed cards. I really like what John's saying about how having the freedom to write whatever you like. Actually, for me, I have I don't know if it's cool, but I have a story with the inscribed card. I've been I was collecting the 5 Blue Jays from the 93 team, Whamco, Devon White, Roberto Alomar, Paul Molitor, Joe Carter, and John Olerud. One of the first cards I ever got was a Topps Tiffany John Olerud, Topps traded Tiffany. And then I got the Devon White, Roberto Alomar, and Joe Carter in the Topps traded Tiffany set, and so I'm sending that off for grading. And I was like, okay, I need Paul Molitor. I need a nice Topps traded Tiffany Paul Molitor. And then I found out that they stopped making that Tiffany set for the year that Molitor came. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I complete this set? Do I go with a different type of card altogether, like an upper deck or something? I don't remember if they have like Topps Finest or whatever. I found this one card that was autographed by Paul Molitor. It was just the regular Topps traded. I actually showed it to Johnny, and I was like, "Hey, I'm thinking of getting this card." And the reason was it was autographed, and then it was inscribed and said 93 World Series MVP. And I was just like,
nice.
That is so cool. But it was like, buy it now, no offers. Like, the guy's description, like in the eBay listing, was like, "Don't even ask me to discount it. I priced it the way I priced it. If you want it, you buy it." And I was humming and hawing for weeks, and then I just told Johnny, I was like, "Forget it. I'm overpaying for this. I'm gonna have it." And now it completes my set, and I love looking at that card. I love the inscription.
Sweet.
So I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, me too.
Nice. Yeah, I love those kind of stories. Yeah, so I love the ESPN story. Going back to Jud Fabian, if you want to see what the card looks like, I'll leave a link below of an IG reel I have pinned to the top of both my 5cardguys Instagram and Cards to the Moon Instagram. So if you want to help Jud's dad, Eric, track this card down, you can see what it looks like there. All right, let's move on to our Friday discussion, and it's related to this story. I just want to continue talking about inscription cards where the player leaves some kind of note on their autograph card. And it's obvious that you guys are big fans of it. So you don't have any thought that, I don't know if anyone thinks this, but that it just kind of ruins the pure look of the autograph card, just by them writing an inscription. Some might be opposed to it. I don't know if you agree with that. Do you also, I want to ask you guys, agree, like it usually comes at a premium, these inscription cards, over like just the regular auto cards? Do you agree with, paying that premium? And then after you guys respond to that, I have a few that I want to show you on screen and get your thoughts on them. So yeah, your general thoughts on inscription cards.
I've already overpaid on that Paul Molitor card, so I'm all for. I totally understand that it's worth the premium. I think it's worth it for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I already drank the Kool-Aid on this one. Yeah,
me too. You know what? I'm not quite all the way, and I'll get to what I'm talking about. Your first question, I'm totally on the boat that it doesn't ruin the aesthetic of the card. I think it actually adds to it because it just adds to the coolness factor, right? Especially when it is something like the Fabian card where it's a bit of a surprise, or where the player takes liberty. They're not supposed to be writing an inscription because there's some flawless or Topps transcendent products that say inscribed or notable nicknames or something like that, and then the player has to kind of write their nickname on it, right? So it's a little bit of like a forced inscription. Right. But when it is a player taking like liberties and just kind of surprise people with it, like that is, that's as best as the hobby gets, right? In terms of like autographs. So that's pretty cool. I will say though, the reason why I don't say I'm not all the way, because I think this is for hockey, and some hockey fans might disagree, but if you guys know this or not, the Future Watch autos, the first 50 autographs on each Future Watch auto, which is numbered to 999, the players will inscribe the date, like the date of their draft.
Interesting.
I'm not sure which date it is, but I'm pretty sure it's the date of their draft.
Yeah.
So that goes in the first 50, which is, I guess it's kind of cool. It's only the date, like 02/10/21 or something, right? So right. It's nothing spectacular, but it is cool to note that you got one of the first 50 cards and it's inscribed.
Wait, so are those more expensive?
By a lot.
Oh,
and
wow.
That's my issue. I think in this case,
I see.
I understand it's a little bit more rare, but because the inscription is not anything fantastic, I don't think it commands. I think some of the premiums are like 2x, 3x. Like the base
crazy.
Version, right?
That's crazy.
So I remember I was at the show and I was talking to a dealer. Like we chatted back and forth many times. So I've met this guy before. We've done deals. So we were just sitting there chatting, and then a guy came over, and I think he was like trying to sell his Cale Makar, which I think those go for like 3,000 Canadian. And he was saying he was trying to trade it to him for 10K.
Wow.
And he's like, this is why it's 10K. And even the dealer was like, yeah, I understand. Like that's sounds about right or whatever. I was like, oh my gosh, like 10K just because it's inscribed with like a little date on the bottom. Like I couldn't believe it. So for specifically Future Watch, for myself personally, I think the premium is way overrated.
Yeah. I guess it really depends on the inscription, right?
Yeah,
so it kind of comes down to that.
Yeah, that doesn't feel personalized. Like that's the whole point of inscription. It's like, oh, this is a much more personal thing. Just writing the date doesn't feel special.
Yeah.
No, totally. Okay. Yeah, I'm for inscription cards too, but yeah, I guess just like everything you guys said, it really depends on what the inscription is. That's worth the premium. That makes that card extra special.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to screen share with you guys. The listeners will describe it as we go through each card, but I'm going to show you some of the inscriptions, and I just want to know what you guys think of these cards. Okay, and they all have kind of different types of inscriptions. So it'll be kind of cool to see what you guys think. All right, I'll start with this one. It's Mike Trout. Do you see it there? It says Topps Definitive Collection. And I chose this one. It says 2-time MVP. So, these kind of inscriptions where it kind of, shows their accolades.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I think Steph Curry has a similar one as well, where he calls himself during his MVP year. I think there's a couple of players that say GOAT on it. Just things like that. Are you fans of these kind of inscriptions?
I mean, you can't put GOAT if you're not the GOAT. So if it was like, if it's like Jordan Clarkson auto, and
Only LeBron,
Yeah.
LeBron would do something like that.
Oh, here we
because
go.
he is,
Here we
or
go.
because
No, you know what I'm talking about. People they know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Oh,
I
boy.
love this. I love the 2-time MVP. Like I said, it's just like that Molitor 93 World Series MVP that I have. So I'm a big fan.
Right. Similar.
Yeah.
Johnny, you like it?
Yeah, it's not bad. You see it when it's like 2-time, like it's all right. I think it's probably a little bit a step above like a date or something, but I personally like it when the inscription is a little bit more unique. Kind of like if you see the Boba sometimes writes Bo flows,
Yeah, yeah,
like something like
Okay.
that. Something like that I think is a little bit cooler for a collector.
yeah.
But yeah, it really depends. I mean, if this card was, say, 2 times more expensive than the one without 2x MVP, I'd probably go for the one without saying 2x MVP, because personally, I don't think it's that amazing, like that awesome cool. But yeah, it's certainly, I'll take it over the regular base apples for like the regular autograph apples to apples.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. All right. Well, speaking of unique, I'm going to go to the next card. Jordan Lawler has one. Here it is.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
Oh,
he
there
drew
we
a
go.
picture of
no, that's
a
the
mountain,
isn't that the Benny
the
Montgomery?
cactus. No, this is Jordan Lawler. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
Benny
yeah.
Montgomery. And he signed it Jordan Lawler
So
or Jay Lawler.
yeah,
What?
so Jordan
Another
Lawler
player.
and Benny Montgomery, I think they traded cards and they signed it
That's
for
what
each other.
happened.
Yeah. So I remember reading
That's
about
hilarious.
this.
Outta here.
It's cool, yeah. So this one's like extra special.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And he
even
drew
I
like
was fooled
mountains
by
and
it.
a landscape.
Yeah. I don't know what that cactus is, but
Well, is Jordan Lawler? Is he Arizona?
I feel like he's a Diamondback.
I think he's Arizona.
Yeah. So I think he drew a cactus for the desert, and then the Colorado Rockies, right?
Oh, there
The
you
mountain.
go.
Well, now we have to see what Benny Montgomery did on Jordan Lawler's card.
I know, right?
Yeah. It's a quick, cool.
See, this
search away.
is it's kind of bordering. It's bordering on a little bit too much. It's a little goofy, but I
Yeah,
love it,
it's
man.
So cartoony.
I'm still eating it up. I love that stuff. I think I saw one of these. I don't know if you guys recall, but there was one. Was it between LeBron and Kobe, or like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, or something like that? There was one where I remember seeing on somebody's reel, like maybe it was one of the big accounts like Carporn or Lameme, and LeBron wrote 3x MVP or like 2-time champion or something. He wrote something, and then Kobe responded with another card, one-upping him by saying like 5-time MVP or 5 rings or something like that. I remember seeing one of those where they went back and forth
Nice.
through the cards. I thought that was pretty cool too.
That's a cool story. That's a
I
cool
also
story.
like that because I like Kobe more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But LeBron is
Yeah.
the GOAT. Never mind.
No. No.
That's a discussion for another episode. All right. I didn't know this was a Benny Montgomery
Yeah,
card.
do you see it?
I thought it was, yeah,
That's crazy.
there you go.
Yeah. So they signed each other's card. It's a pretty cool story.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, Benny
Gotta-
Montgomery on his Bowman. I don't think it's pulled yet, but I remember. I don't know if you're gonna show that next, but he has like the Benny and the Jets on his Bowman first.
Here we go.
There
There
it
it
is.
is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
right on cue.
It's so ugly. It looks like my 4-year-old drew it, but I would be so happy if I pulled that card.
If you pulled this, that would be really cool.
Yeah. He might have done that. He might have done that on his Bowman First Superfractor, but I don't think I'm not sure if anyone's pulled or maybe they have. I don't know. Anyways,
I wonder what the the Topps representative thinks when they collect these cards and they're like, I'm not sure what to do with this. Do we just keep it in? I guess they obviously did, but I think more players should do something like this, like we said earlier. All right, this is like a Benny Montgomery card show because the next one.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
He signed Borat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. The Bowman First.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Eating it
I
up,
wonder
man. I love it.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. All right, last one then, who's not Benny Montgomery. You ready? This is from the Leaf Inscriptions set. So it's Leaf, not the most popular, but this actually forces
players to write.
To write something, right? This is not a player. This is someone's dad. Lavar Ball has a bunch of these.
Get out of here.
And some of these inscriptions that he wrote are, "I am better than Jordan!" ! Lonzo better than Steph Curry. That was a good one.
Oh, man.
Magic is not allowed to my workouts. Okay. And stick to the donuts, Chuck. I don't know if that's meant for Charles Barkley.
Oh, man.
But yeah.
I would be putting that in the mail, writing to Leaf and saying that I want my money back for whatever, however I pulled that thing. That's brutal.
Yeah, that's I wouldn't want that one for sure.
How about if it was like another? I'm sure I don't know who else is in this Leaf inscription set, but I'm sure it's not as inflammatory as LaVar Ball's statements. But do you think this kind of set is cool? Like like a subset where they encourage players to write something on it, or do you think that's like too forced?
Yeah, I think it's too forced. It's like I was gonna say even with the Benny Montgomery one, it's like if you do it too many times, if you go to the well too many times, it just stops. That's like the whole will thing. You don't want me on every episode. Like once in a while, I'm good. Like you can't have it on every card. Yeah,
too much of a good thing.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that's a good way to end this Friday show on that note, and I'll try to put a post of the LaVar Ball inscription cards on our social media feed, so you guys can see if you've never seen it before. Something else. All right, thanks again for all our listeners, and thanks Scotch44. We just encourage anyone else, just like Scotch44, to leave us a nice review of our podcast if you enjoyed the show, wherever you listen to your podcast. So yeah, thanks again, and we'll have a brand new show on Tuesday coming up in a few days. Talk to you then. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to Cards to the Moon. We'd really appreciate you subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can also connect with each of us on Instagram at 5cardguys, or you can follow Hyung at Integrity Sports Cards, or John at TradeU at Recess. You can also check us out at fivecardguys.com. Thanks again, and hope to connect soon.